So for item number 19 of my 101 list, I wanted to listen to the people who influenced my favorite musicians. So I went through, looked for articles where those bands had talked about people they were influenced by, or people they really liked, or whatever. I kind of got this idea from Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, where he talks about finding your creative pedigree. So you go back to the people who influence you, you go back to the people who influence them, and it's interesting, it really is. So I just chose like 10 of my top favorite bands. So I did Reliant K, whose influence includes Scott Joplin, Less Than Jake, Simon and Garfunkel, The Beach Boys, Five Iron Frenzy, NoFX, MXPX. I listened to the Decemberists, who cited some interesting British folk music, like Fairport Convention. They also listened to some things like REM, The Smiths. The Smiths is a huge influence on them. They Might Be Giants was another band that I picked, and they were influenced by some older groups, since they're an older group themselves. So for instance, the B-52s, Elvis Costello, Talking Heads, George Gershwin, Cole Porter. So some of them even have like more classical influences. Next, I picked Regina Spektor, whose influences included Billie Holiday, Chopin, Joni Mitchell, Carole King, Radiohead, Bob Dylan. Ben Folds I picked, and he was an interesting one because he has come out in interviews and just said, I don't believe in influences, because everything you hear influences you whether you want to or not. So I just picked things that he said that he enjoyed listening to. So he grew up listening to 60s and 70s funk and R&B, so I just got like a popular R&B playlist and put some of those on there. Some things I did find he mentioned: Elton John, Nirvana, Queen, Joni Mitchell, Elvis Costello, REM. So some of them even had like some cross interests. So like REM influenced the Decemberists, it influenced Ben Folds, and later down the line it also influenced Cake, who I picked for my list too. Interesting stuff. Death Cab for Cutie was the next one I picked. They listed Built to Spill, The Cure, Low, Tree People, Red House Painters, Hall & Oates, Nirvana, Matthew Sweet, Weezer. I picked Fun as well, and this one was interesting because Nate Ruess has like talked about his influences, so I got quite a few from him: Van Morrison, Queen, Paul Simon, Smashing Pumpkins, Weezer, Fleetwood Mac, Kanye West. That was interesting to listen to. I picked Sufjan Stevens as well. He listed some more classical people like Dvorak, Stravinsky, but he also loves the Bangles. Arcade Fire listed New Order, B-52s, LCD Sound System, Radiohead, Bjork, Talking Heads, who also influenced TMBGs. And then last I picked Cake, which was good because I looked for influences from the frontman, from the singer, and also from the trumpet player. So I had Hank Williams, Willie Nelson, Benny Goodman, Dizzy Gillespie, Miles Davis. So that was an interesting one to listen to too. I kind of want to do a little bit more with this one, but I'm going to call it good. I think it'd be interesting to make like music maps to show who influenced who, and then in turn who did they influence. So because it's interesting because no, I don't think anybody on my list influenced someone else on my list. But it's interesting because like Talking Heads both influenced Arcade Fire and They Might Be Giants. REM influenced like half of my list. So it would be interesting to connect everyone in the music world with like who they were influenced by and who they in turn influenced. But maybe for another time. Anyway, nevertheless, I enjoyed it immensely. The playlists are on my Spotify if you want to listen. Username Emissary, EMMISARY. But yeah, it was a good one, and I'm glad that I did it.